Hey guys, welcome to Game Jammin'. Today we're here to talk about competitive stats. Specifically, we're trying to work our way through how do we improve the stats functions that are in the game and get better at the game ourselves. First up is talking about medals. That is one of the biggest indicators we have in the game right now to tell us how we're doing and what our performance is like. Unfortunately, as all of you know, medals are not a great way of telling whether you are playing your role correctly or not. The biggest issue, of course, is that the 5 medals are static no matter what character you're playing, so even if you're playing a Mercy, you still are supposed to get a medal for damage done and eliminations, which doesn't really tie into your role necessarily. So, although that is the indicator that we got from Blizzard, it's probably not the correct one that we really want to use going forward. At the end of a game, there are also stats provided for each hero, which can be used to help tell your performance. The biggest problem I have with these stats is that there's no context for it. So, although you can see you have 13 eliminations and 4 deaths, you can't tell whether that was good or bad in comparison to previous performances. On top of this, there's career averages that are being posted that are misleading at best. If you play a hero for 25 minutes versus a hero for 4 minutes, of course you're going to have more damage blocked in the 25-minute game, but it will not tell you how you performed and whether you did better or not since last time. The first step to change this is to, instead of looking at stats as an overall per match, we should be looking at a stats per minute metric. If you look at masteroverwatch.com, you'll see that's what they use, and I think that's a good way of starting on the right track. If suddenly there was a stats per minute screen at the end, you could easily tell whether you had more eliminations or were doing better than you did before. Imagine if on the end screen you could see, instead of having 1.1 eliminations per minute, you moved up to 1.3 eliminations per minute. It'd be a really clear indicator that you did better than you did before. Now this would be a good start, but the next problem we have is what stats are really relevant to a hero role. And for that, I think we need to talk about a rating system. And a good example that we could look into is the NFL. In the NFL, there's all sorts of stats available to tell how well a quarterback did, but one rating that a lot of people like to use is called the QB rating. It's a number between 0 and 155. Yeah, I know the number's weird, but don't worry about that. And it tells you how well a quarterback did based on their passes completed versus passes attempted, interceptions, and touchdowns. What's really helpful about having a single rating for a quarterback is it makes it really easy to compare quarterbacks. Now, this number doesn't tell you everything about a quarterback, but at least gives you an idea. If you see a quarterback with a rating of 100 versus one with a rating of 80, you would assume the one quarterback did better than the other one. If we took the same principle back to Overwatch, if we had some sort of rating, and let's say we put it on a reasonable scale, like from 0 to 100, we could then take a look at our characters and say, well, last game I scored a 40, and this game I scored a 50, and you would assume that you did better. Now, is this the end-all? No, it's not the end-all. There are other stats that are relevant too, and sometimes if you have a bad team or other factors, maybe your rating's going to go down. But at least it gives you a talking point to see whether your rating went up or down. So what's the point of this whole video? I want to make a character rating and check it match by match to see whether the rating makes any sense or not. The way I'm going to do this, there are some APIs that are available that let you download your Overwatch stats. And if I set up the right kind of tracking, I should be able to see my game by game performance. What I'm going to do is start recording my games as well as other information that's not available in the stats, so that I can get something that I can use in order to evaluate whether my rating that I generate makes any sense or not. What would help me is if you guys provided some information about what stats you think are relevant to a good Mei. Specifically, is it more important for Mei to get kills or damage done? And does healing have any impact on whether it's a good Mei or not? That's the sort of information I need to know. So please provide your feedback in the comments below, or if you're on Reddit, feel free to leave your comments over there, and I will check both and see what the consensus ends up being. It's just going to be a starting phase. It's not going to be like the end all where I'm just going to stick to one stat and that's it. We can use this as a starting point and continue to develop it, so eventually we have a rating that actually means something. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!